welcome to the TnB podcast. It's episode 18. If you normally join us, welcome back. If you're joining us for the first time because you want to see what's happening in Season 2, welcome. I've got Johan and Muna
Hello.
with me today. We're missing Devon. I know he apparently, while promoting the podcast, also forgot about it and has a race on at this time. So great stuff. So yeah, here we go. We're today's episode's going to be a little different. Usually, what we do is we talk about what happened last week Friday. We talk about what happened in the world of motorsport over the weekend, but as you probably know, last weekend there was nothing on, so we decided to take the opportunity to present Season 2. So obviously Season 1 has come to an end. It was 10 rounds. It took us 11 weeks to complete the 10 rounds because we had to do Mexico 1.5 times, but that is over. Good evening, Rob. Thanks for joining us. Good evening, Legend. Thanks for joining us. If one of you guys there in the comment section can do me a big favor, just for the guys that can't see the Twitch link, can somebody just do a copy and paste and put it in the social chat for us? Because I think that would make it easy. But obviously today's episode is going to be more towards TnB Season 2. Obviously no racing last week Friday. It felt like a very weird Friday. It's going to be another weird Friday because we're only starting next week Friday. But a little later on we're going to reveal the calendar for Season 2, so guys can know what round 1 is going to look like, so they can start practicing if they want to, or if they know it's going to be a disaster in advance. Let's start off with a few things are going to be a little bit different in Season 2. Obviously, if you were with us for the last season of F1 2019, you will remember we had a season that we called the multiplayer season, and
Multiplayer cars, correct.
basically it went off really well. We've decided to bring it back. We actually almost brought it back. We almost brought it back from the very start of the game. We decided it's a new game. Let's play with the new cars and whatever. But we're going back to the multiplayer concept. So a few changes. 3 drivers in a team for the most part, with a few exceptions. There are a few exceptions, but 3 drivers per team. Obviously the point system that we used last season actually carried over from that multiplayer season, so the point system was a success that we decided to keep. Those teams, do we have names for those teams? And
Yes,
who's driving in them? Can we I'll hand it off to one of you guys, and you can just read through those teams and who will be driving for those teams.
Okay. Just a quick one. Also, multiplayer cars, we refer to it in short as NPC. I do still get a lot of questions. What does NPC mean? So please, guys, NPC multiplayer cars. Right, the teams. Okay, let's start from the first team that was confirmed, and we take it from there. Coincidentally, 2 of the 3 drivers there is with me in the podcast tonight. That's team not Aston Martin Racing. Drivers there, not Fernando, not Kimi, and not Sebastian.
Don't know any of those people.
So there's our first team, the guys with the green and purple. Very nice livery as well. A couple of creative liveries again. Nice to see the guys actually putting the effort. Then our second team, with a nice black livery, is the Black Mambas. At the moment, that team only have one driver, and that's EH Boucher. So there's two spots still available, technically speaking. So if we can still fill if somebody's interested. Otherwise, I can see some of the reserves basically driving there as well when they rock up. Then, of course, we have a SAF1 or SAF1 as we call it in short. So SAF1 team, SAF1 esports team. They will be represented by SAF1 Boinkies, SAF1 Kunrad, and SAF1 Vino for real. Then we have RQR esports team. So does any one of you actually want to explain RQR? What does it stand for?
RQR, what is it? Research and I believe it's Rage Quit Racing.
Yes. Now, the rages, there's going to be some real rage races there, because that team is made up of Foss, Gaffbeek, and the Judge.
That resembles another team from the multiplayer era. Can't remember what that was called.
Then our fifth team, JCW Formula One team. That team, the drivers there is Wesley, or Wes Ark, John VH99, and Chen. Then our sixth team, and that's actually a team that kind of like came at the end, and also with a losing a team member, another team withdrew, and actually they combined into this team. So we got Project, TGR, Yamaha. Drivers there is Not Maverick, RJDV, and Legend. Of course, TGR, for those of you who still don't know what it stands for, it's Top Gun Racing. And then we actually have a couple of reserves. Actually, our biggest reserve list in a while. On the reserves confirmed is Walnut Canoe, SAF1 Quinton, which will basically be for that SAF1 esports team.
Only for that team. That driver is specifically
correct
for a team.
So SAF1 is only for the SAF1 team, where Walnut Canoe, Nismax, Staffy, and AD is pretty much available for any other team. So that is pretty much our driver lineup.
Okay, obviously there's your teams, there's your driver lineups. So you've got a few guys up on the stream already. Everybody waiting for the calendar. Should we when should we do I think we should do the calendar. What
we can go in a little bit longer. We can just talk about the rules as well.
Okay, let's talk about I'm gonna let Johan take over for the rules segment. Basically, anything that's changed that needs to be brought up.
The rules are pretty much for those who's been around. Well, most of you have, but basically the last season of 2019, and well, pretty much last season as well, except for one change. Last season we had a rule that the drivers were limited to the amount of referrals. Of course, if they were unsuccessful with a referral, they would lose the referral, kind of like with the DRS system in cricket. That rule has been scrapped. So we back to the rules pretty much we had in last season 2019. So pretty much everything stays the same. It's just that one rule that's now been removed.
Right, and then basically, speaking of the calendar, obviously in season 1 we did 10 rounds on the game. There's obviously 22 circuits to choose from, so the way we're going to do the calendar is we've basically, Johan will switch on his camera for the draw part of it, so that everybody can see it's done fairly, and we're going to take those 12 tracks that we haven't used. We'll draw 10 of them, and obviously that means 2 tracks still don't get used. Those 2 tracks will be basically inserted into Season 3.
Yeah. Correct.
Those two circuits. So there will be two circuits that we're gonna miss out on. It's gonna be 20 races until we get to them, but they will be inserted in Season 3. Basically, and then the rest, everything's up for grabs. That includes Monaco. Now we haven't been to Monaco in a long time as TnB,
Believe it or not.
and for the most part, that's a lot of times Monaco doesn't get put in the draw. So Monaco is definitely in the draw. Like I say, if it doesn't come up tonight, it'll definitely be in Season 3. If it does come up tonight, either way, it's going to be a night race. So you heard it here first. Share the info. Don't want anyone crying on the race night. But yeah, if Monte Carlo does appear on our Season 2 calendar, it's going to be a night race. I can think of one driver who can potentially be excited about that announcement.
Yep.
He's already asking for with full wet weather.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew he was gonna ask for it.
No, I have no desire. I have no desire to do that. Might actually join Johan in the comms box and just.
I think a lot of people will.
I think half. I think 2/3 of the field will end up in the comms box if that's the case. But
TnB broken income.
so we've got obviously some of the tracks that could come up on the calendar. Obviously, none of the tracks we did last season, obviously. So, refresh my memory. What could pop up here? Australia, China,
Yeah.
Baku,
Yeah.
Canada,
Monaco, as you said. We can have Italy, we can have Spa, we can have Brazil, Hungary, Azerbaijan, and Spain.
Actually, very good tracks.
I actually just thought of something. We might have a season with Monaco, Singapore, and Baku.
Yeah.
All in one season.
And if they're all wet, well, there we go. Rob just confirming Baku can be nice as well. So
All three, all wet. I mean, there's no better opportunity for Rob to become champion again.
get a calendar dominated by street circuits. So
just before we proceed with the calendar stuff, of course I just want to mention this. A big thank you to Tibet, aka Not Maverick, because the mastermind behind Project TGR, and I'm not talking about the team that I just mentioned earlier, but actual Project TGR. Project TGR will actually sponsor. So for the first time with TnB, there's actually going to be a prize. So Project TGR is actually sponsoring T-shirts, branded T-shirts, printed T-shirts for the winning team. So all three drivers, of course, of that team will receive a T-shirt. Of course, TCCs do apply, and that basically means it is limited to drivers in South Africa.
Yeah. So Gavin is out of the question. Done.
Yep. Unfortunately.
And the guys in Cape Town also. So it can only be.
we can have them made. We can fold them up nicely, and hopefully when they come here for Kyalami one day, we can present them to them at a later stage. But we're not going to be able to ship overseas, especially with the current climate around international shipping. So
and of course international shipping issues as well at the moment.
So are we gonna get into it? Are we gonna?
I think let's get. I think we've suspended it long enough.
It's only been 15 minutes. The podcast is usually an hour, but let's get into the calendar. We can first of all. Johan or Captain Ice, he's going to obviously switch on his camera at some stage before we start. Johan, do you just want to explain how you will be doing the draw.
I will do just now. But before I do, just please help me, join me here to conclude my thank you to the vet, please. Big thank you.
No, definitely a
Yeah,
big thank you to the vet, obviously, for the prize at the end of the season, and hopefully gives everybody that little bit of extra motivation to push that little bit further and to grab every point that's available. And
I mean,
Have something to race for.
the TnB shirts have come out in the past years and everything. So
I've still got my
Yeah.
still got my original TnB shirts, and in fact my dad walks around with one of them. So yeah, my dad's got a Renault. It wasn't not Fernando back then, so it was just Jay Fernandes. So it works for him because his name also starts with a J. So yeah, people get confused when they see my dad in a sim racing shirt.
Also, and while the vet, just thank you for also still doing the posters for us. We appreciate that. Of course, the designer and the outlet of those posters.
no, it's really done well. I must say we really got our own niche. You know what I'm trying to say? We've got
Yes.
we really stand out, and it's brilliant.
And the whole idea of TnB was to be different, and we are different, 100% racist. The posters, everything, and it must be said, even the posters, the design of the posters for this season will look different again compared to last season, and it also carries that multiplayer car feeling to it. So it's all done in line with the multiplayer car sheet. So right, so let's now stop delaying and let's go over to what most of the guys actually are here to see, and that's the calendar, of course. A little different tonight. Normally, the first one we draw will be the first track of the season and so on. So tonight we're going to do it a little bit different. The first track I'm going to draw is going to be the 10th round. So we're going to basically go reverse order. So the last track I draw will be the first track we do next.
The first track you draw. Sorry, what's that? Explain again.
The first track will be round 10.
Okay, so the first track you draw, and then it's basically it's gonna run in reverse.
Yes.
That's it. So
Last track will be round 1.
Will be round 1.
Okay, understood.
Cool.
So
And there's my little ball there with all the tracks in, all 12 of them as mentioned earlier. So there's 12 tracks ready to draw. Right, let's grab the first one here. Open it up here. So round 10 will be Monza.
okay.
Monza will be round 10.
Okay.
So round 9 will be, let's draw another one here. Oh, here we go. First one, Singapore.
Here we go. Is one of the street tracks we mentioned earlier, so that will be round 9, Singapore. I think oh, there we go. Jan just briefly disappeared. He's back.
Singapore.
It's doing Mamuna on you.
Okay, so
Drawing for round 8.
okay, so far we have.
Monaco.
There we go. So
Monaco.
round 8.
And it's gonna be a night race.
Round 8 will be a night race around Monaco, and then yeah, you're gonna have to get used to the night because we're gonna stay in the night for Singapore. So Monaco followed by Singapore followed by Monza. Wow.
Watch out.
Two different
Now
stuff.
the next one must just be Azerbaijan. It's all 3 somewhere in a row.
Oh no, None of that.
7 will be
You can see
Canada.
Oh,
That's a good one. That's a good
that's a
one.
nice one.
I like that. That's gonna be now what, round 7?
Yeah.
Correct.
Round 7 Canada. Round 8 Monaco. Round 9 Singapore. Round 10 Italy. Stretching my memory a little bit here, but
So for round 6 will be Brazil.
there we go. Another track we haven't visited in a while. At least that I can remember. So there's your second half of the calendar. It's gonna be, I can't remember.
Actually fast-paced tracks followed by 2 street circuits.
Yeah, definitely. You got Brazil, Canada, Monaco, Singapore, Monza. That's second half of the track. It's quite a complicated one. So
So we pretty much halfway with a draw. So pausing here for a moment, taking a break because that's basically just another announcement for season 2. Johnny, Seb, you guys want to tell them about it?
So
gonna
we mid-season break.
yeah, we haven't actually usually done it. Usually we just go straight through from round 1 straight through to round 10. We don't take a break. We're gonna take a break this time after round 5. So round 5 we'll just have a 1 week break and then carry on with round 6. Just that's what it is. Just to give it a break. And obviously, if we have any sort of a situation like Mexico, then
Mexico.
we can maybe, if everyone agrees, rather move it on to the break than extend the season. So
Correct.
just to have that one extra week in there, and yeah, and maybe if the guys want to take a break, they take a break. If they're desperate to drive, I'm sure we can organise something that's not for championship points.
Yeah, what's great is that it helps with guys that have got work commitments, and
That's it.
it helps a bit.
And also, on that note, we're still not going to include dates on the calendar. Call it a track list then if you want, but we're not going to include dates for that reason. So it makes it more flexible should something happen, like with Mexico. Then, then the whole calendar is not up to what, because we can always move it on a week or whatever.
Maverick making a prediction for round 1. It's
Mugello.
oh no, it would be lovely to go to Mugello, but I don't think Codemore. So I'm not gonna say that on my stream, but I don't think they're gonna be too accommodating of your idea, Mugello. That would be fantastic. TnB around Mugello,
If we could have had both tracks.
or if we could have what about Imola or Portimão? Okay, so can we go on to round 5? What is round 5? Your lighting has gone. This'll be the Bahrain Outer Circuit. I'd love the Bahrain Outer Circuit. I'd love it.
No, it's going to be Spain.
Oh wow, the most exciting track on the calendar officially. Most exciting track on the calendar officially. Not quite sure what the game did with Sector 3 there, but it looks a bit different. See how it goes.
Then for round 4, a Muna favorite, Belgium.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So Spa for round 4.
Definitely not a one-sided calendar so far. We've got fast tracks, and we got a few slow ones too.
So 3 tracks to go. Well, 3 to draw. There's still 5 tracks. Which 3 will it be? So for round 3, Hungary.
Oh.
There's a track I enjoy and a track Seb doesn't. It's like yeah, that's where we switch, like Hungary, Belgium. I like Hungary. Track works for me.
So track, so round 2. Oh, here comes Force, Austria.
Round
Oh,
two.
yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, round 2 will be Austria.
Round two, we go to the Red Bull Ring. Obviously, there'll be no Red Bulls on track because of the multiplayer cars, but Red Bull Ring, one of the
Still full of power.
shorter. Actually, we got two of the shortest tracks on the calendar, so could make for tight qualifying sessions. Got Austria and Brazil there in the first half of the season.
So we got Australia, China, and Azerbaijan left. 1 to go.
Oh no, I forgot
Which
about
will be
Oh, no.
will be round 1?
We know which one.
This is to start the season. This is the season open,
See, the last one to be drawn. This one will be the. You better give this one a proper last shake up.
Yeah, please.
Give this one a proper last shake up, and like, you know, because if that's gonna be Baku round 1,
No, rather China round.
Okay, I know Rob is going to go all
China round 1 I can deal with.
Let's see. You got what you wish for. Baku it is.
Oh. Yeah.
There we go. That's gonna be a. Oh wow, what a. We made a joke about all 3 of those. So obviously there was 2 tracks that were not included, and we said those 2 tracks would be forced onto the season 3 calendar. I believe those 2 tracks are Australia and China.
Correct.
Okay, so Australia and China, the 2 tracks right in the beginning of the calendar, still not making their first appearances on TnB F1 2020, but they'll be here for next season. But yeah, and if you can just give us a rundown again from round 1 to round 10.
Round 10. So, season 2, we will start the season at Baku. So, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix to open the season for us. Then we're off to Austria for round 2, followed by Hungary. Round 4 will be Belgium. Round 5 will be Spain. Round 6 in Brazil. Then we're off to Canada for round 7. Then, of course, the Monaco night race for round 8. Off to another night race and street circuit in Singapore. And then the season will close, of course, in Italy.
Must say a very good season.
Mixed.
You've
All
got
mixed and stuff.
fast track, you got those tight tracks in the middle, you got a little bit of a gap of Spa and Barcelona or Catalunya, and then, yeah, that's brilliant.
Somebody missing from the driver lineup that obviously dominated last season, Matt. So he won't be with us. So there's going to be no 2-time champion. So new champion will be crowned. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be I'm not even going to mention my teammate, but like mentioning my teammates' championships is like mentioning my podiums. You know, just don't talk about it. So yeah, if anyone's going to win a championship in this team, it's going to be not Kimmy, because he's pulled off a few.
Not Maverick making a return for a full season and not on the reserve list this season.
Maverick just saying Jan's given him a job for tomorrow. Definitely want that
You
calendar
betcha.
out.
I'm going to send it to you just now. As soon as we're done here, you can expect that message coming to your way.
And then another thing that we need to mention before we close up is the stewards.
Yes. So basically, there's going to be a change in the stewards this season as well. Um, there's 6 teams, so basically I need 6 representatives, one from each team. So each team need to decide amongst themselves who they're going to nominate as their representative. That person need to send me their cell numbers. Well, of course, I will create a WhatsApp group specifically for all the stewards, and they will then join our existing steward panel, and all decisions will then go into that group, and that whole panel will then discuss and, of course, make a decision, etc. Of course, on that note, if one of your team members are involved in an incident, you will, of course, not participate in that specific incident. So, for argument's sake, if Muna is involved there, of course, not Sebastian are not allowed. Sorry, not Fernando, not allowed to say anything about it. So, guys, I'm looking for your representatives. So, if you can just please send them to me via WhatsApp, so I can create a group and add them on there.
So that'll obviously be another one of the changes that will be coming in next season. Every team will have a representative in the stewards panel, and then obviously, just an example, obviously if 2 cars get into an incident from 2 different teams, then the representatives from those 2 teams will not discuss the incident. They will step away, and the stewards that do not have a team involved in the incident will then make the decision.
And of course, all drivers to save footage. If you cannot present footage, that immediately will result in a quali ban. And repeat offenders, of course, you can find yourself having race bans as well. And it is also mentioned in the rules, and it's always been there. So please, guys, save the footage. And also keep in mind that there might be sometimes lag incidents, and we've seen it before, lots of lag spikes. But at the end of the day, we need everybody's footage to view everybody's point of view to determine, because from one point of view it looks very bad, and then from another point of view it can look different. So it is of utmost importance that we have all the relevant footage when we investigate anything.
So guys, remember to save your footage. I know 1 or 2 of the guys do a point of view. I know Devin sometimes does a point of view when he races. So whatever footage you have, but just make sure you do have footage. And if you don't have footage, please don't even approach the stewards without footage. So yeah, that's basically going to be season 2. It's not going to be this Friday, it's going to be next week Friday, so you're going to have to wait another week. Considering what round 1 is, you can start practicing. It's not a favorite, so I know a lot of the drivers haven't necessarily been there. If it's not for a race, they technically stay away. Sort of like I'm not entirely sure if I've raced that track on this game, so we'll see how this goes. I might have in a 5-lapper, really.
And on that note, guys, please, if you cannot race for whatever your reason may be, if you don't want to race, just please give us the heads up prior to the race, because it also allows us to open the door to reserves. I assure you want the reserve to take your seat so your team still get the points. After all, there's those t-shirts you are competing for, so just let us know if you can't make it.
Just a reminder, they've got that the one reserve driver, the SAF1 Quinton. He is only available to the SAF1 team if one of their drivers is unavailable, but all of the other reserve drivers are available basically to fill any slot. So you need to let us know if you're unable to make a race. So because you're not going to have all the reserve drivers available on every Friday night, it's only going to be a few of them. So if you want your team to be filled up with 3 drivers, let us know as soon as possible. For whatever reason, it doesn't really matter, but you know what, I can't make it on Friday, That's a good enough reason. But don't enter the league and then just not show up, because we've got a few examples of that. But yeah, let's not do that. So if you can't make it for whatever reason, just let us know. It's not a problem, but just a heads up. And yeah, you guys can start practicing for. You can actually start practicing all your street circuits. I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to get around the hairpin in Monaco. Luckily, it's only round 8. I think I'm only gonna start practicing for Monaco on the Friday. Yeah, it's probably gonna. Hey,
And just wing it.
there's no way I can finish 100% race around Monaco. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. So but not Kimmy reserve for broken comms. Well,
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
no, we actually had another TnB channel that some of you might not know of. But maybe if you type it in YouTube in the search bar, you might actually find a video or two. But I think it was called TnB Broken.
Yeah.
Correct.
There were a few TnB Broken videos. If you can make sense of what's going on in those races, well, bless you. But yeah, some crazy stuff. There's even a TnB race out there somewhere on this other guy's channel who asked me to commentate, and I said, yeah, it's fine, you can commentate. And then he proceeded to commentate in 144p. and that was lovely, because no one was awarded fastest lap that race, because I couldn't see who had it. It was lovely. Good job. 144p, Windows 95 all the way. So to go around the hairpin, Fernando, you're okay. Well, don't insult me and then get your punctuation wrong. To go around the hairpin, Fernando, your turn right. Your turn. You mean you? Yeah, don't insult me and then mess up your punctuation. So
Right, really.
you tell no. Wait a second. No, I don't know how to get around that hairpin. I mean, I've actually succeeded in getting penalties for corner cuts around Monaco. That's pretty.
That's a skill.
That's impressive. I'd love to know where I'm cutting corners, but love it. So we had a few extra viewers on the stream. Obviously, thanks to everybody who tuned in and watched. This will be uploaded to YouTube and made available this time. The podcast was not made available last week because I slipped up on that, so it was about 3 days late. But I'll basically, yeah, I'll get to work on uploading this, and and yeah, that's it. What about
Just keep in
as far as racing this weekend? Obviously, no TnB just yet. That's coming next weekend. But we do have our sport returning. It went a bit dry last week, so we do have Formula One coming back, and coming back at an interesting circuit. Coming back at the the Nürburgring. Sorry, it's going to be called the Eiffel Grand Prix. That's a bit confusing to me because that reminds me of something in France. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a
But
mountain range called the Alpha Mountains. That's there in the Deutschlife village.
well, since there's no German Grand Prix on the calendar, they could have just called it.
Nürburgring Feature Club.
Well, they could have called it the German Grand Prix, because the other tracks that had their name changed was because you had the Austrian Grand Prix, and then you couldn't have two, so you got the Styrian Grand Prix. So since there's no German Grand Prix, they could have just called it the German Grand Prix. It's a bit of a weird name. And then from there they head off to Portugal, obviously for first time since '96. New track for Formula One. I believe a few teams have done some testing there, so there may be some advantages for teams like AlphaTauri. They spent some time there, and then Imola. So we've got a whole handful of, in terms of modern F1, it's new to us, and then after Imola we have yet another. Where do we go after Imola? I can't even remember. Oh, we go to Turkey. Yes. So the next four circuits, very interesting. And then obviously MotoGP obviously coming back on the weekend to Le Mans. Not that circuit, Le Mans. What's the short circuit called, Muna? The Bugatti circuit. So that's the Le Mans Bugatti GP circuit, the shorter, more sane version of the circuit. I'm sorry, I'm trying to multitask. I'm trying to read the comments and oh well. Look for the DHL signs and turn to them if there are any at Monaco. Okay. And then hopefully Merck has a better home Grand Prix than last season. Maybe that's why they didn't call it the German Grand Prix, so that Merck wouldn't get a home race, because they really don't need any more advantages.
Yeah, no.
What happened at their home race last season? Was that where they dressed up?
Yep.
And it was a complete and utter disaster. I think I've never seen a Merck pit stop like that.
They must add that special livery as well.
It was it's the opposite of what it is now. It was a.
Just completely went boom.
What happened now? Jan's just disappeared. So they definitely not going to be doing any special livery this time around, and I doubt they'll be dressing up, because Toto didn't seem too impressed with the result. But we're gonna see how it goes. And MotoGP also very, very tight in the championship. Another thing to watch out for on Friday is gonna get two rookies doing their official F1 weekend debuts. I can't pronounce this guy's name. Ilham Kalot. Yes, Ilham Kalot. He will be racing alongside Grosjean, so I believe he'll be taking Magnussen's car. And then Mick Schumacher will be alongside Kimi Raikkonen, so he will be taking Giovinazzi's car. Wonder if that's just a
glimpse of things to come.
just a glimpse of things to come. I mean, he got replaced in the test session. It's like, Kimi, do you want Mick to drive your car? He's like, no. Okay, sorry, Gia. No, nobody drive my car. So Mick Schumacher will make his debut, and then for anyone who follows it, the past 2 days in Barcelona, there's been the Formula 3, the official FIA Formula 3 test. Arthur Leclerc made his debut in Formula 3, and at the end of day 2 he was 5th fastest. So a lot of progress. Yesterday he was 12th fastest, today he's 5th fastest, so gelling well with the car, and he's the top prema on the timesheets. So looks like we could see Arthur Leclerc in Formula 3. Another name there in the top 10 was David Schumacher. So showing a lot of improvement from this season. So and some MotoGP news that I heard today that I found quite interesting. Muna, do you remember the Moto3 team, the Leopard team?
Yes.
They are entering into talks to basically create a fully fledged satellite team for MotoGP. That would be the Leopard MotoGP team. So details are still scarce on what bike that would be in terms of manufacturer, but it seems like Leopard will be joining MotoGP as a satellite team as early as 2022. So could be interesting. Something to watch out for. As well as Rossi is in talks, or they didn't say Rossi, they said the VR46 Foundation is in talks with Yamaha over a potential buy-in stake of that Petronas Yamaha team. So could also see a VR46 Yamaha on the grid not too long in the future. But I think that's a decently sized podcast, and we haven't had much motorsport to talk about, so it's just been TnB and it's just been Season 2, 45 minutes, and we've held on to our viewers. So everybody who has watched, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for staying and listening to our rambling. This will be up later on YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, thanks for watching. And yeah, thanks to Johan for doing the draw and using his camera, because Muna chickened out. Didn't want to use his camera. Something about being stalked by a guy in Benoni. I don't want to get into the details, but yeah, apparently some guy in Benoni's got a thing for Muna, so doesn't want to use the camera, as well as his modified headset. Have you you've bought a new headset, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not hiding the modified headset.
No, I'm not hiding the modified.
Oh, okay. Anyway, guys, thank you very much.
Just a reminder that all the details, the lineup, the rules, of course, will be posted on the Discord channel very shortly.
Absolutely, everything will be on the TnB info channel on Discord. So, guys, thanks for joining the podcast. Muna, thanks. Jan.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And
Thank you,
yeah,
guys.
guys, thanks a lot. We'll be back next week in some form for the 19th episode of the podcast, and we'll have something to talk about. We'll have the Nürburgring to talk about, and some MotoGP, and yeah, hopefully you'll come back then and join us. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.